Hi, dear audience. Hope you're doing great, dear audience. Today, we will study the summary of the short story After 20 Years by O. Henry. I hope you will enjoy the summary. Let's start with the characters.
Major characters. Jimmy Wells. Jimmy is a police officer in New York City. He and Bob were best friends as kids. While Bob went out west to get rich, Jimmy stayed in New York and became a respected cop. He's a good officer, known for being calm, smart, and experienced. Even though he finds out his old friend is a criminal, he stays cool and talks to Bob without giving himself away. He's loyal to their old friendship, but also does his job as a police officer. He actually showed up early for the meeting, showing he is a punctual person. To honor their friendship, he had another officer arrest Bob. Bob, Silky Bob. Bob is a criminal from Chicago, and Jimmy's childhood best friend. He left New York at 18 to make his fortune out west. He became a criminal, which is how he got his expensive jewelry. Because he's a criminal, he's sneaky and hides in the shadows. He has a white scar and a pale face, which might show the hard life he's led. He's still loyal to Jimmy and trusts him to show up for their meeting. He's surprised and upset when he's arrested by a cop pretending to be Jimmy, but it's not clear if he is upset at Jimmy or just the situation. Minor character. Plainclothes police officer. This is a police officer who pretends to be Jimmy Wells to trick Bob. He then arrests Bob and gives him a note from Jimmy. This character is used to show that Jimmy still wanted to honor his friendship, but still uphold his duty as an officer.
Starting the summary.
After 20 years. The city was quiet, a cool 10 o'clock chill settling over the empty streets. A uniformed police officer, a patrolman, walked his beat. Not a soul in sight, yet he moved with a steady, confident stride, his club twirling in his hand with practiced ease. He wasn't putting on a show, it was just how he carried himself, a man who knew his city. Most of the shops were dark, metal grates pulled down, the silence only broken by the echo of his footsteps. Then, he noticed a figure, a man standing deep in the shadows of a hardware store's doorway. The man held an unlit cigar between his teeth, a hint of mystery in the dim light. The officer approached, his senses alert. "Everything all right, sir?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. The man stepped forward, reassuring. "Just waiting for a friend," he explained, a slight edge to his voice. "Made a promise, 20 years ago, right here, at Big Joe Brady's restaurant." "Big Joe Brady's," the officer replied, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. "Place closed down 5 years back." The man struck a match, the flame briefly illuminating his face. Pale, with a square jaw, sharp, intelligent eyes, and a white scar that stood out starkly. "Yeah, I know," he said, lighting his cigar. 20 years ago, me and my best pal, Jimmy Wells, we had dinner here. Grew up together in New York, but we took different paths. I headed west, chasing my fortune, and Jimmy stayed put." He paused, a hint of nostalgia in his voice. "That night, we made a pact. Meet here, same spot, 20 years later, see how we turned out." The officer, intrigued, asked, "Kept in touch since?" "A few letters, then things got busy," the man admitted, a touch of regret in his tone. "Out west, it's a whirlwind, you know? Always hustling. But Jimmy, he'll be here. He's the truest, most loyal guy I know. He traveled over 1,000 miles, he said, just for this meeting. If he shows, it'll be worth every mile." "Doing well out west, then?" the officer inquired. "Sharpens you, out there," the man replied, a hint of pride in his voice. "Makes you quick." "Well, good luck," the officer said, and continued his patrol, leaving the man to his vigil. The man, left alone in the shadows, puffed on his cigar, the smoke curling into the night air. He waited, a mix of hope and uncertainty in his heart. 20 minutes ticked by, then a tall figure approached, emerging from the darkness. "Bob?" the figure asked. "Jimmy," Bob replied, a surge of recognition. "Man, it's a shame about Big Joe Brady's," Jimmy said, his voice tinged with sadness. "Yeah," Bob agreed, "but look at you, Jimmy, you've grown. Let's walk, find a place to talk about old times," Jimmy suggested, putting an arm around Bob. As they strolled down the street, under the bright lights of a drugstore, Bob, full of his Western successes, bragged about his adventures. But then, under the harsh glare of the lights, he stopped. He looked at Jimmy, his eyes narrowing. "You're not Jimmy Wells," he said, the realization dawning on him. "Even after 20 years, I can tell." "Time changes people," the tall man replied, his voice hard. "You're under arrest, Silky Bob. Chicago PD wired us you were in town." Bob, stunned, went quietly. As he was led away, the tall man handed him a folded note. "From Patrolman Wells," he said. Bob unfolded the note, his hand steady at first, then trembling as he read the words. "Bob," the note began, "I was there, on time. But when I saw your face, I knew. I couldn't do it myself. So, I sent another officer. Jimmy."
Hope you have enjoyed this summary. Please subscribe. It doesn't any cost. Thank you.